Well, good morning, fellowship families. It is Pastor Brian here checking in with another weekly update. I hope you and your family are doing well. The weather has finally started to warm up, and so hopefully you've been able to play outside and enjoy some of that. I know our kids even got out the water stuff and have been playing in the water, so that's been fun. But yeah, I just wanted to check in and share three things like I normally do: an update, a little bit about our family worship guide for this week, and then the fellowship Kids 2020 Challenge, which is a mouthful, and I always have to think before I say it. So let me start with a couple of updates. The first one is an update on VBS. Several of you have been asking, what's the plan for VBS right now? And I can share a little bit of what we're thinking right now. And there's not a definite plan yet for the summer, but we're making decisions, as we can. And so the first decision we've come to as a team is that we are going to be not having VBS in June on the week that we had planned to do it. And so right now we are potentially going to do it in July. We're hoping for July, but we're just going to have to wait until we get closer to July and before we can make that decision. So as of right now, the update is that we're not doing VBS in the week of June. That we had previously scheduled, and then we're not sure if we're going to be able to postpone it and do it in July or if we'll have to cancel it altogether. A lot of it will have to do with regulations and guidelines that the state is putting out, and so we'll just see what happens there. The second update is an Awana update, and I'm super pumped. A lot of you have continued to work on your books, and so well done. And Hezekiah Barrett has completed his book. So well done, Hezekiah. He completed his third book in Sparks. He's going to be off to TNT next year, but well done, working hard throughout the year and finishing your book. So nice job, Hezekiah. All right, well, let me start talking now about our family worship guide. So the story we're going to focus on this week is the story of Noah in Genesis 6 through 9, which is several chapters, and it's also in the Jesus Storybook Bible. And it's a really fun story, I think, especially for kids because of all the animals. There's lots of fun questions we can ask about the animals because of the boat, because of the rainbow. It's just one of these stories that we love to tell our kids. And so I encourage you to read through the story in the Bible, and probably reading Genesis 6 through 9 all in one sitting might be too much. And so, one way you could do it is by just reading one chapter a day, each day for 4 days. And then you can also use the Jesus Storybook Bible. The story is in there. And Zondervan has actually put this out on video for us as well. And so I have that on the website that you can look at. And really, I think this story is, a fun story in a lot of ways, but also there's some weightiness to the story as well when you think about what happened to all those who weren't in the ark. And so I think this story, it tells us about God's judgment and about his mercy. And we love to talk about God's mercy, his love, and one of the ways that gets displayed in a even clearer and more beautiful way is when it's given on the backdrop of his judgment. And so the mercy that Noah received and his family received and all the animals that went with him on the ark was so amazing and beautiful. But the backdrop of that was this judgment that God flooded the earth and destroyed all the other human life and animals that were on the planet. And in many ways, that was really sad and really, not a good thing in the sense that humanity had rebelled against God. And so I think we need to talk about the whole story of Noah. And I think in many ways, the story of Noah points to Jesus, because like the people in Noah's day, all of us are sinful. All of us have rebelled against God, rejected his good ways, and all of us deserve his judgment. And yet, instead of us experiencing God's judgment is put on Jesus on the cross, and so that all who trust in him are now rescued. And so we have this beautiful picture at the end of the story of Noah, where Noah and his family are saved and they finally get back on dry land and they get out and they worship the Lord he sets up an altar and he thanks God and he worships him. And God makes a covenant with him, and he has a picture for that covenant, which is the rainbow, which we love. We love the rainbow, and that covenant, that promise with the rainbow that God would never destroy the earth like that again, talks about and communicates to us that God is a promise-keeping God, and that he keeps his promises. And so when we see that rainbow, we can think about that truth, that God is a promise-keeping God. And we can also think about how he's kept not only that promise, but the promise he made to Adam and Eve in the garden, that he would send an offspring that would one day crush the head of the serpent. And we realize as the Bible unfolds this big story that God is telling, that Jesus is that serpent crusher, and that all of God's promises are yes and amen in Jesus because of what Jesus has done on the cross. And so, yeah, I hope this story is encouraging. You can read through the Family Worship Guide and the note to parents there. I would encourage you to be in the Word again with your kids. Okay, then the last thing to mention is the Fellowship Kids 2020 Challenge. And so, kids, you are encouraged to recreate the scene, the story of Noah, which I think will be a lot of fun. There's a lot of room for creativity when it comes to animals, and also the ark and the storm and the rainbow. And so I've seen the last few weeks that you are incredibly creative, and so just let those creative juices flow, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. And we're going to be drawing winners again this week, and so the winners are going to be winning one of these 3 books. So we have The Priest with Dirty Clothes, which is one of my all-time favorite kids books. I'm not going to ruin it for you if you haven't read it, but it is amazing. The Priest with Dirty Clothes, The Prince's Poison Cup, which is a similar book. Both of these by R.C. Sproul, both of them beautifully illustrated, and a really good book. And the last one is A Dangerous Journey, which is the story of Pilgrim's Progress, and it's shortened a little bit and put into a kid's version. This as well is really well done as far as the illustrations go. And so, yeah, kids, you have the opportunity to win one of those 3 books. So please post, parents, either email them to me or post it on Facebook by this coming Friday at noon, and then I'll do the drawing sometime Friday afternoon. So, all right, families, I hope you're doing well. Please let me know if there's any way I can serve you, if you have any questions, but I'm praying for you and your families, and I miss you all, and we'll talk to you later.